Yo, what up, people? Smith motherfucking all here today, of course, to give you guys Machine Down wa Kizutsukanai. Episode 2 motherfucking review. And I believe I nailed the name, so yes, just saying, personal victory right the fuck there. And now let's get on to this fucking episode 2 review. And I'm gonna do, oh my god, I cannot go through like moment through moment, because describing it would take longer than the episode itself. And I mean that legitly, like, oh my god. So let's just do a summary, as that seems like a better way to do it. Okay, so the anime basically starts off, and we have Akabane, or as I like to call him, Raishin. Raishin works a lot better than Akabane, every day. Raishin's a shit. And basically, he's confronting this dude with the mask. And then immediately, there's two girls behind him coming up front, and one of them has like a fire insignia on her face, and it sends Raishin into this flashback. And this flashback is like, basically there are a whole bunch of dead bodies, and with like all these dead bodies, he sees his mom. He walks up to his mom and his dad. He identifies them, and then Nadeshiko, she's dead. He's holding her, and he's like going through it. And then the mask guy starts, and then intro, of course, which is the shit. And then basically the mask guy starts walking away. He's like, "Wait a minute, I got something for you." And he lifts up his hand. All he does is raise his arm, and like fucking clockwork, 6 bitches out of nowhere just fucking zoom to his location, all with a different sword on his fucking neck, like all around. They were about to decapitate his ass. One sword even cut the motherfucker and he was bleeding in an instant. And Yaya, she somewhat noticed them, and I was like, okay, she knows them, but she couldn't react in time. And the thing about it was, when we saw in the replay, Raishin actually was, I'm not sure if he actually saw them coming, because I'm trying to figure out what exactly his whole deal is, because we've seen him fuck up 2 fucking dolls by himself, 2 animatrons done by himself, fucking dead. Just saying, he decapitated one of these motherfuckers. So I'm trying to see exactly if he can actually pick up on their speed or not, because that'll be very interesting. And I'm going to say he couldn't react. I'm going to say he couldn't. But I want to say that he at least saw them coming somewhat. He like saw them coming from all around surrounding him. But he didn't have time to react like, yeah. I want to say that. So I'm going to go with that. And then basically, it turns out it's just like a gift to him. And we find out this masked dude's name is actually Magnus. And so he gives it to a doll gives it to him. And they split ways, and he's like, I need to get stronger. It's like, there's no way I would have won. You see that shit? Fucking blitzed them both, like in an instant. Nigga raised his hand, and they were already on his ass, like magic. And this scene in particular, this part, really got me thinking about Magnus and his whole, like, where he fits in the story. Because later on, I'll get into that later, but it really makes me wonder exactly what it is. Because I mean, if this dude killed my family, fucking rush him. Fuck it, what? Well, he might have wanted to think smarter than that. It makes you wonder, or is this just things later? Okay, we'll get to it later, a little bit later. And then of course we have the nudity shower scene with Yaya and Raishin, and you know what? It had emotion and comic relief at the same time. Like, it was emotional, and you're like feeling for this dude, and like, and then it's like comic relief thrown in there, and also fan service, and so it gets pretty good. It was a good scene. I enjoyed it, because even though it was dark, you felt for him, but then you still were laughing, and it sort of cheapened the emotion somewhat. Like, it would have been much better if like it just panned out with these 2 holding each other. Like, that would have been like much more of an emotional scene. But instead they decided to go, the whole comic relief route. And in my opinion, even though it was good, but if they would have just, not made it a comic relief moment, it would have been much more deep, if you get my drift. It would have been much more deep. It would have been much more meaningful, because he's basically saying I need to be stronger. There's no way I'm gonna be wise man now. And yeah, she starts undressing, and then she comes up from behind him, and yes, of course, there is nudity, like legit nudity. Just saying. And she's just comforting. She grabs him. She's comforting him, and it was like a really emotional scene. And then she puts her, you know what I'm talking. I don't even want to talk. You know exactly what the fuck happened. And he starts squeamishing, and that's when the comedy aspect comes in. And then basically pans out behind the thing, and basically Yaya's like holding him really tight and just is like, get off me, and the whole comedy thing about Yaya really wants to fuck this motherfucker like legit. And I'm digging it. But I would have much rather had it be a deep emotional scene. Because there are times for comedy, and there are times when you gotta be serious. And if a series can pull them both off, then it's a magnificent series. But nonetheless, it was still good. Because I did like the comic relief. But it sort of cheapened it it cheapened it a little bit, in my opinion. And then from there, it's the next day, he's going to class, and he walks into the high school, like their high school fucking disciplinary committee, like the president. And his name is Felix. And we later find out that his vice president, he has a vice president, and she lays out some good information. And her name is like Liz or some shit. Lise. Describe yourself. That's her nickname. I'm not calling her actual name because that's just no. Her name's Liz from now on. It's Liz. And the thing about it is, basically he offers him a chance in order to basically get into this tournament. And that's what he's been wanting. And he won't have to like fight somebody in order to do it. He'll just have to do a task for him. And they'll discuss it after class. After his class. And then, of course, Raishin goes to class. And then this is when we get dropped with fucking information. All types of information. Basically about how the robots somewhat work. And they basically have like this heart. And it's able to take magic from the user and enables it to like turn the gears in a sense, like steam. They compare it to steam, and it was a good explanation. Like, and we learned about because basically he's like, they're like having this own conversation, and the teacher just whips a piece of chalk at his head, and he's like, ow, and then basically like, why do you think I'm doing this? This is the basics. And he's like, well, yeah, for the the new kids and the ones that are failing. And she's like, no, for the current new kid that is going to fail. I'm like, yo. That's what I gotta deal with. That is what I have to do. Fuck it. And that was mad funny. That was mad. I was like, yo. And then basically she asked him a question. And it's like, what is the most commonly used like heart for these? For animatrons. And he doesn't know, he has no idea. He's saying all types of names. And it turns out that she asked Charlotte. And basically, we find out that it's the Eve heart, and it's like the most commonly used one. And then basically, Raishin gets up, and because basically the teacher, she's like, who wants to imitate a human anyway? Like, they can try, but no. They're just robots in the end of the day. And Raishin gets up, Yaya's the best fucking animatron ever, fuck you people, I'm out. Like legit. He didn't say I'm out, but still. If he did, that would have been the shit. But, you get the drift. He's defending his robot, and he's like, she's a robot that Shonko made. And then Yaya gets on his ass, and she starts fucking choking him out. And so, I'm like, oh, he's defending you, and you're choking him out now. It was funny. It was funny. And then basically after class, well, Charlotte is actually looking out the window when they're meeting. Felix and Raishin. Yeah, Raishin. And the thing is, as they're meeting, she's like wondering what's going on. And then basically they go back to the club room. This is when we meet the vice president, and he lays it down. And he's choosing him because not only is a fight, he seems that he's strong, but he's also a new student. And he breaks down what's been happening from what we saw in episode 1 about this rogue thing which imitates somewhat Jack the Ripper. And apparently like 26 students have gone missing, and there have been like 12 or 13 like reported cases of finding animatrons like, with their heart eaten out. And basically he's using them because he's a new student, and so there's no way he could possibly do it. He just got here, and this has been happening for months. Like over the months. Or like the past month. And I'm like, okay, I'm digging the situation. So he's gonna have to find this thing, and we'll get a little bit more detailed what it is later, because basically, it turns out that as he's walking away, of course, from the crime scene, because they go and visit the crime scene. There's a dead robot there. Charlotte, she's pissed off. She goes walking. She's gonna find the person who did this. She's on the case basically, and he's investigating it. And basically, it was just basic information from we saw, like what I basically already said. The heart's like ripped out. It's eaten, and they're like all over campus throughout the months. Like they've been some over here, some over there. We don't know what's happening, and they named him like Carnival some shit. Fuck it. It doesn't really matter his name. I'm calling him Carnival or Carnival. Yeah, Carnival. That's the shit. Carnival on the loose. Yo, I'm digging that. Okay, so from there as he's walking away, in comes Liz. That's why I'm fucking calling her. And is the vice president. And she's like, basically, I need to talk to you alone. And so he sends Yaya back to the apartment. And she's like, you're going with this girl? I swear to God, motherfucker, you cheat, I'll kill you. It's like, you better hope that by the time you get home, I didn't destroy and create ruins in that room. Like, legit, like, he was like, please don't make ruins. Like, don't make ruins. Like, apparently she demolishes she destroys shit. So she is a pretty strong robot from what we can see. He's actually like, yo, calm the fuck down. And so they go off and they're like in the middle of some fucking maze. I don't know why. Maybe isolation. I don't know though, because a maze seems like the worst place. Because I mean, niggas could literally be like right behind the other side of the fucking hedge and you wouldn't know. So it kind of like, that's if you're gonna meet somebody, wide open area. Wide open. Just saying. Unless it's a drug deal. Then the maze would have been perfect. But no, it isn't a drug deal. It's some information. And basically find out. She's basically telling him to stay away from Charlotte. And it's because her automatron, that dragon, which still doesn't make name much, but she's called like Tyrant Rex. Like a fucking dinosaur. It makes no sense. It doesn't. But fuck it. I don't know. Maybe because she'd be rampaging and shit. I don't know. Maybe she destroyed Japan. I don't know. I'm just saying. It doesn't make... Fuck it. And basically, it's made using band parts. And band parts are basically like human parts or real flesh. And they're like banned and it's not, something you want to be doing. And she basically says that Carnival, this dude, whatever the other name is, fuck it, I don't care. I'm calling him Carnival, this motherfucker, whoever he is, might be, because it's obvious that it's an automatron, but who could be controlling it, or is it by itself? We don't know. But it might be made using band parts. See, I get these words used too much in this fucking review. I don't know why. Fuck it. And then we get a little bit of backstory on Charlotte's fucking dragon. And basically it turns out that for 150 years it was an actual dragon that destroyed like England and shit. And then her family like captured it and put it into her doll. And it's a banned automatron, technically speaking, but she can still use it for this competition, because why not? Why not? It's a death match. Go with whatever you got. You got a band, might as well. You got a shot, might as well. You're gonna need something, motherfucker. You need something. And the thing about it is, she even relates to how, even to transform, he like needs to eat meat. He's actually like partly living. He has living flesh in him of a dragon, and I believe also like the soul of the dragon might be in there or something like that. Because I'm not sure, but apparently like this dragon. We'll see. Maybe the dragon actually has like minds, because dragons are actually somewhat very intelligent. I don't know. Maybe he had the ability to like speak. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I wonder if he knew anything about his past life. That's very interesting. We'll see. And then from there, it's just pretty much he goes home. Let me smell your pants. Like take them off. Comedy. Nigga does like a flip to evade her ass, and then Charlotte asks him on a date, and it turns out that it isn't really a date. It's more of what would be the word? It's more of she didn't intend it to be a date, but he turned it into a date anyway. And so I'm digging that. I'm digging that. And we also find out that Felix has been asking out Charlotte for a long ass time. And we also find out in the Dragon's asking her, would you be able to kill him? Charlotte, would you be able to kill him? Would you be able to kill Raishin? And she's like, basically, I'll do whatever I have to do. And also, the Dragon took note at how he actually spoke to him, not Charlotte, when he was asking, are you okay? That's a big difference. He actually treats automatrons as people, not as objects or tools. And so that's very important. And then basically the date goes on, and we learn more information. He's stretching it around. But the big information we learn that's really, really important, besides all, like, why'd you pick me? It was obvious, and I had to do it. The big information we got was why he fought the way he does, like how he fights. And basically find out why he actually fought those automatrons is because his family is from like a long line of like prestigious automatron like fighters, and they're more in the group sense, like Magnus, which leads me to believe all types of shit about him. Like, I don't know if he actually killed them, or if he trained under them, or maybe he's a family member himself, or maybe he has nothing to do with it and he's just a goal. Like, maybe all his family was massacred by some random person, he killed the motherfucker, and then he wants to become the best to live up to his family's reputation. We don't know. But he is from halfway around the world, so that's a big fucking. But we find out the big information, which is that he's only been doing this for 2 years, and that he only currently like has Yaya, but he could control other dials figuratively, because his family's from a group effort. That's why he got in there himself, because he's a tactician, like a group tactician with robots, with these automatrons. So is his family, and he's only been doing this for 2 years, and he has his hands full with Yaya. But it brings the question, like, what if he had other dolls that he could come out, but he just hasn't used them because he's working with Yaya right now, and they're just like dolls that he just knows a little bit. That would be epic. Like, just 10 dolls just come out, and he's like, yeah, let's do this shit. Attack. Like, that would be cool. That would be really cool. But I'm down with that. I'm thinking he's just gonna be like a 1 doll person for right now. Maybe even including himself, because he's like they say, a group tactician, or he's a, he needs more than one person to function. Like, he needs Yaya. There needs to be 2 people for his mind to actually function how to fight a group of people or somebody. It's like his way of fighting. It's like he isn't just gonna sit back and do nothing. He needs, like, you need 2 attackers basically. Like, a minimum is 2 attackers, as I see it. And if he has to be one of those attackers, he will. But if he doesn't, then maybe he won't. We'll see. Maybe he'll be like, fuck it, 3 attackers. I don't know. We'll see. But that was the main gist of it. And then there's a whole thing about why don't you ever accept Felix's offer? And then she's like, well, I like him, but the thing is that he's really into the girls. Apparently Felix is mad with the girls. Like, girls go rabid over his ass. And if she already has a lot of enemies, and so if she started to date him or do anything like that with him, she would make even more. She doesn't want that. So it's acceptable. Yet at the end of the day, if you become a wise man, I assume that you're going to have more enemies than you are friends. Like, everybody's going to be around. You killed like 200 motherfuckers to get the title. That's 200 fucking families that are on your ass immediately. You killed my son. I got to take him out to prove myself. I killed a wise man. You're going to have mad enemies. So, if that was like a missed opportunity, in my opinion. If Raishin would have said something like that, then there could have possibly been a thing between Felix and Charlotte. But Raishin's the main character, and if anything, it would be more like a harem, so fuck it. Just saying, I don't see like Raishin just passing off Grow to another dude, maybe. I don't know. But if you would have did that, that would have been like, really, really nice. And so, from there, there's also like a flashback, like during like beginning stages of the date. Like, not a flashback, like what's happening over here. And basically Yaya, she's bawling her eyes out because, of course, the masters left and the dolls are left alone. And she's crying a lot. And like, they're coming out and like they're freezing or something. It's mad weird. But there's like a fucking puddle, and this dragon is like trying to fly out, but he can't for like the longest. It was hilarious. Like, it was a giant ass puddle. And then basically as they're walking back, carnival. There was fucking light, and like, oh my god, he's already struck. It's like, we gotta go. Yaya. And he just takes off running for Yaya. And that was the episode. It had just some parts I might have left out, but yeah, that was the big gist. That was summary of the shit, and it took 20 minutes. Picture if I would have went step by, oh my god, 30 minutes. I would go 30 if I had to, but I decided to do summary just because it seems simpler. And with this episode, we got so much information, and even though there wasn't any fighting, it was a great episode. And yes, I'm calling the nigga Carnival, because that's his shit. I don't know why, it's more intimidating, like, what do they call him, like Carnival Massacre or some shit. I don't care. Carnival is all you need. Carnival. I'm digging it. And so, this episode overall. I gotta give it a 9.1. Wait, nah. Let's think about this. Yeah, this needs some thinking. We had good progression. Yeah, 9 out of 10. Yeah, 9 out of 10. It would have got a 9.1 out of 10. But, I don't know, that shower scene just seemed cheapened. And it's like a double-edged sword of, these type of, comedies, sort of like fighting, sort of like deep, things. You can't really tell a deep story while trying to be funny and also trying to, touch somebody. Like, it doesn't really work like that. Like, you can't, showing fan service while showing comedy, while showing an emotional scene, it works, but it just doesn't work really well. It would have been much better, in my opinion, and that would have got it up to a grade if it would have been, like, just really, like, just panned out, and they were just, like, hugging or something like that. She's comforting him. That would have been much better, in my opinion, than the whole comedy relief. Because it was a deep scene. I mean, the dude was, like, legit, like, off the movies, underwater, just I'm a failure. Like, legit. And it had so much potential, but nonetheless, it was still a good episode. Because even though it's still a 9 out of 10, even with that, because that's just like a personal preference. Like, I would have much rather had it. It still had that emotional, but it cheapened it. And it's like, would you rather have a car or a cheap car? You want a car. You don't want a cheap piece of shit that'll break. No, you want a good, fast car. Or a good, nice, undented, unfucked up car with 0 miles on it that's ready to fucking go. And that's how it was. Cheap car to a car. It just cheapened the emotion. So with that being said, this episode still, even with that 9 out of 10, it was a good episode. We got information that we needed. We learned some things. We got introduced to new characters. And apparently, there might be fighting next episode, which I'm really looking forward to. So with that being said, Smith to motherfucking R. Peace out.